Welcome. I am Zana, Chief Executive and Artistic Director of Papyllon Dance Southwest in Bournemouth, England. It's our huge honour to bring to you our first ever worldwide live stream of a research and development piece by Mesma dance company called Papyllon. Papyllon has been created over the last month. It brings Ella back to work using silks, which she hasn't done for many months. And it's an absolute pleasure to watch it. There are 3 sections to it. It explores issues around identity, imposter syndrome, and privilege. It lasts around 20 minutes, and then we're going to come together with Marv Radio, who's providing live music, and Ella telling us a bit more about the piece, just for a short Q&A at the end. So do stay on and join us for that. Enjoy the piece.
The space is in darkness other than a long vertical runway of white fabric, glowing brightly. A female figure sits cross-legged in the centre with her back to the camera, her nude catsuit tightly fitted to a slim athletic frame, her dark curly hair loose, grazing her shoulders. She slowly circles her head, the motion subtly resonating through her spine, echoing through her shoulders smoothly. As her left shoulder rolls backwards, joined by the other, a ripple travels through her defined vertebra down the centre of her back. The movement continues into her ribcage as her knees lift up. Her toes peeping through, resting on the opposite thigh, she balances on her coccyx, sharply lifting her elbows. They relax as the ripple snakes fluidly through her ribcage, shoulders quivering. Head back. Every ripple and articulation precise and controlled. Elbows high, pointing outwards, the movement shifts subtly to shoulders and head. Could she be enclosed within an egg? Cautiously starting to explore her kinesphere. Arms flickering out. Her right arm smoothly snakes away from her, the light catching her fingers as the hand quivers, reaching over her head, stretching upwards, fingers curling into a fist, from the small finger to the index, arm pulling down as left arm extends, her image disappearing, revealing Marv, microphone to his lips. Fingers working mixing desk, producing the live soundscape and music. Ella's image overlays his, her arms shooting up, fingertips extending like spiral staircases, arms lowering as the musician's image dissolves. Her right arm ventures up again, tension through the fingers articulating as they mirror each shudder and flicker in the music. Both arms move to the side like a wave. The shudder in the hand travelling down the arms into the shoulders, then releasing as arms extend. Rolling back over right shoulder, points of contact shoulder, hand and kneecap, feet still tucked in, inverting herself to explore all options of restricted area. Right arm exploring through the space between hand and kneecap, fingers coiling in, index finger pointing. Sharply points to herself, fingers moving between face and inside of supporting arm. The wrist like a snake slithering and recoiling. Fingers flicking. Exploring the contours of the inside of her supporting arm. Again snaking through the gap. Weight in both hands, head is able to extend outwards, neck elongated, balancing on hand, supporting kneecap, lifting off the silk, suspended, repeating this as hand twists, creating a star in the silk as she rotates around her axis in the centre. Unfolding her legs, reaching in opposite directions, toes pointed. Placing them down on the edges of the silk runway. Rotating on forehead, kneeling on one knee, body tightly coiled around. Arms and fingers stretching and contracting, exploring around and as far away from her body as possible. Arms swinging to meet behind her back. Pelvis up, feet wide, heels touching the edge of the fabric, toes walking around her whole circumference, pivoting on her head, one arm still exploring, snaking behind, inverted torso and to the side. Weight in both hands on top of head, spine long, toes stretched hovering over silk as she rotates, feet drop rotating over torso to crouch, facing darkness behind, again extending an arm upwards and to the side, wrists and fingers quivering, turning towards where the fabric can just about be seen trailing down from the ceiling. Balancing on heels, arms stretched, every movement through to her fingertips articulated. Dropping weight onto hand, whipping round to balance on shoulder, legs extended into high V. Swiveling round to drop onto one knee, again arms and torsos coiling round. Controlled headstand, legs hovering above. Spin on head, feet drop resting on head and toes, both arms exploring upwards. Kicking legs over to crouch again on edge of the fabric. A ripple travelling up through her torso. Heels together, knees to side, movement still travelling through her spine. Jumping to balance on opposite edge of fabric, torso tipping forwards and arms probing into the darkness. Her face glowing in the light reflecting off her. Pushing shoulders back to fabric, sitting up, limbs hovering, extended towards light. Dropping backwards to rebound up into crouch, facing forwards, arms hovering to the sides as she turns on the balls of her feet. Rocking backwards again, balanced on shoulders, arms and legs reaching, feet flexed, fingers flickering. Rolling over shoulder, onto one knee. To thread arms through gap, body folded over as she stretches through, fingers coiling. Resting cheek on fabric, laying her body down, holding the edge of the silk, bringing it tightly across her face, an open clawed hand still reaching forwards. Her body contracts on her side, slowly rolling backwards, the fabric encasing her torso. Briefly thrashing, arching, then yielding as she continues to roll, slowly backwards towards the trailing fabric. Slowly wrapping herself in a silky cocoon. As she reaches where the suspended silk trails to the floor, a pale shimmer of purple light wavers over the fabric. She slowly curls into a tight fetal position on her side, then arches back repeatedly, getting faster, scooting across the floor, her head emerging, limbs still tightly bound, rolling onto her back, knees up. Sharply back onto her side, thrashing head towards knees, in and out. Sitting up facing the back, dropping head back again, her cocoon quivering, arching her spine. Rolling up to kneel up. Still wrapped tightly, her head gently drops to the side. Suddenly rolling over her shoulder again and again. Kneeling up, facing the back. Her torso ripples. Skimming sideways on her knees, crouching. Stretching her legs, body folded over. Slowly uncurling, one arm emerging, one still bound tight over her head. The released arm pulls the fabric tightly behind her back once more, completely encased. Slowly pivoting, whole body undulating, wrapped tightly. Very, very slowly turning away from the source of the suspended fabric. Her torso gradually emerging, an arm hooked over her head. fabric concealing her identity. Spiraling round, dropping head as her image fades away and returns to Marv, creating sounds. Watching Ella, now fully emerged, crouching, sweeping the fabric from side to side till it forms a snaky trail. Marv's image disappearing as she crouches at the edge, body unfolding. She follows the trail, a wave travelling through her body, contrasting surges of sharp contractions and smooth undulations. Her arms exploring once more out to the sides and behind her back. Her hips snaking as she steps forwards, stepping toe-heel along the thin fabric trail towards its source, where it trails down, a purple shimmer of light adding a splash of colour. Arms always reaching upwards, fingers coiling in as she continues along the snaky trail, till she reaches where the fabric suspends. She stretches up, wrapping her fingers tightly round the fabric, releasing her grasp and stretching higher to hold firmly onto the silk. Her feet slide forwards, holding onto the two trailing pieces of silk together. She places her shin against the fabric, holding above her head. She pulls herself up, dropping head back, holding silk between her feet. She walks her hands up the silks, bringing feet up, wrapped in the silk, so she can travel upwards, arching backwards as she pulls herself up gradually higher and higher. Separating the strips. Head looking through as if seeing around herself for the first time, legs extending to the sides. Toes wrapping each strip around her ankles so that she can stand up in the suspended fabric, releasing her grasp with her hands, pushing her whole torso through the gap, extending an arm up, dropping it sharply to extend the other, dropping her head forward, arms pushing behind, then unfolding together up high, dropping head again. Camera looks up from underneath, her suspended fingertips swimming down. She takes hold of the trailing strips of fabric by her feet, pulling them behind her toes, flipping over. Body arched upside down, thrashing forwards and backwards, pulling on the silks to sit upright. Silk tightly wrapped around her lower legs, she slowly stretches her body forward. Sitting once more, her fingertips quiver and shake, exploring all the new space around her as she's suspended, wrists circling and fingers flickering out to the sides. Stretching legs. Then flipping upside down, feet wide apart, silk trailing down from her toes, letting her arms unfold. Reaching towards her toes, she takes hold of the silk, bringing the edges together to form a long train, the fabric billowing as she brings it in front and behind her head. Leaving go and holding between her legs as they open to the sides, standing tall again. She unravels the fabric from around her shins, tucking her feet in to crouch. Suspended again, slowly rolling her head over the tops of her shoulders. Looking over her shoulder through the window created with the two strips of fabric, she pulls herself up higher. Suddenly dropping head, tipping forward, one leg crossed, squeezing fabric between her thighs, legs stretched to the side, her curly hair hanging down towards the ground as she gathers the trailing fabric in her arms. Swirling the very end. She spins round, the camera looking up at her. Dropping the fabric, she trails a hand down the side of her face and body. She releases herself from the entwined fabric that was supporting her as she spirals round. Just holding on with both hands. Her toes now resting on the floor. Her image dissolving and returning to Marv. Still at mixing desk, microphone to lips responding to Ella's movement. As she sits at the foot of the fabric, legs crossed. Her long spine rippling, the movement continuing through her arms, reaching upwards, rippling right through her fingertips, which snake down towards her stomach. Stretching over to the side. She rolls around the suspended fabric, eyes looking up as she continues to expand, her arms out to the sides, eyes up. Line stretched out, she rolls back behind the fabric to the other side, sweeping a leg out as she rolls, unfolding an arm high, rolling again, and spiralling onto her knees, lavishly dropping head back towards heels, arching, spine rolling onto front, and back into the crouch, a newfound freedom and expanse to her limbs, exploring the space around herself, nothing restricting or restraining her. Sweeping her hair behind her neck, rolling into a long lunge, standing fist swinging confidently over her head, gallop shifting sideways, a constant ripple surging and undulating through her whole body, exploring the freedom of space around her. A flavour of salsa in her snaking hips as she shifts her weight from one foot to the other. Big ripple sideways, her feet stepping sideways, sweeping the upper body backwards, arms opening, then reaching up in turn, her body still rippling as her image again blends with Marv's, dissolving, leaving him still creating sounds into the microphone. Ella's moving image reappearing behind Marv's as she spins. He disappears, Ella stretches up towards the light. Toes sweeping to step behind, she sinks to the ground. Rolling, arms extending over her head, into crouching again, reaching up, exploring her freedom. Fingertips dive forwards. Innocent wide eyes, also exploring, smiling, back upon her feet, sweeping out to the sides as she travels backwards. Scoot across the floor, expansive circle with arm. Hips still snaking, body undulating as she shifts her weight from foot to foot, light washing over her smiling face, again sweeping her hair behind her neck, head circling as she turns her smooth undulating movements, punctuated with little ricochets and sparks, body sweeping to the side. Turning, travelling forward, an arm whipping over her head, lifting her knee to step backwards, transferring weight forwards again, toes slicing through the air, an arm always reaching up as she turns one way and then the other, hair flickering over her shoulders. Another image of Ella appears over the existing one, of her turning. The original image dissolves. Powerful surges through her torso, she lifts a resilient fist high above her head as she comes to stillness. The camera getting closer as she slowly fades into darkness.
Phew, welcome in guys, come and join. Let's have a chat. It's Ella and Marv sitting down now. Oof, thank you. Papyllon, what a beautiful piece. Thank you so much, both of you. Ella, this piece is about transformation, It's almost literally so through the life cycle of a butterfly. And I know that you've been on a real journey with it yourself over quite some time. Do tell us a bit about the journey of this piece.
So I was actually here about 6 years ago with Breaking Convention, and I had a piece of fabric, and I worked, I think, for 4 days and did a performance in this very theatre. And someone in the audience said, you should put that on silks. And I actually have a background in silks, so it's always just been a hobby. It's never been something I thought I would, bring to the stage, but I apprenticed with Upswing Circus. So yeah, I thought, well, let's give it a go. So it originally, kind of the journey was, I made a duet with a South African poet called Tony Stewart. And yeah, I never thought it would come back on this journey, but in times of coronavirus, I was here as a supported artist, couldn't bring my 4 dancers and my actor into the studio, and so I was kind of sitting there going, what am I going to do? And yeah, it just came to me that this could be a solo, and I could really kind of rework it and go into all of the questions that I was having at this time of needing positive change and needing to bring some light, and also kind of all the difficult things going on in the world, that this could be an opportunity to explore. So here we are. It's great to be here.
Ella, I know this is about several issues which have got real kind of connection to the social issues that have raised over the last few months. One I'd particularly like to know more about is privilege. Tell us a bit more about how privilege weaves into it.
Yeah, so during lockdown, I was interviewing 5 amazing women, and we ended up talking a lot about the privilege of being in the theatre. Actually, the privilege of life, the layers of privilege, and how it's kind of a relief that we're really starting to look at that as a society now. But, to make a piece of work and not have to kind of excavate and get out and talk about things is a privilege. So I wanted to make a piece where the R&D or the question and answer section, really we get to delve into that, because I think it's so important that we do talk about these things. And that art, I love what James Baldwin says, that art is an opportunity for speaking and for kind of like the voices of the people to be heard. So how can we use art as that tool for positive change and that tool for conversation?
And that sort of holistic approach to creativity that you so love is really well represented by your collaboration with Marv. Marv, welcome.
Hi.
How does this kind of collaboration sit for you in the practice that you do?
Well, Ella and I have like a history of working together through various practices, and actually helped me in developing my own theatre piece, which we put on at Roots of Rumba and Rich Mix. And as an artist, this is a lot of the stuff that I'm really interested in, the talking about the change that's coming, the transformation, bringing in the Amazon rainforest, and being from a hip hop background, it's easy to get pigeonholed and to be expected to do one type of art. And really, I'm a vocalist. I'm many different levels. So Ella had the vision to see that I could express myself as an instrument, and that's really, as well as doing sound healing and meditation classes, this is something that, putting the whole energy of the spirit into the voice and seeing that collaboration and conversation in dance, it's really special. It's a beautiful connection to see how voice and dance interact. Yeah.
And it comes across so beautifully with all the transitions between the pieces, the music itself and the choreography both work really well together. Tell us a bit more about how the conversation works between the dance and the music.
Marv mentioned the rainforest, and both of us have kind of experienced journeys with ayahuasca as well, and so we kind of ended up talking a lot about that. And that it was this transformation, this journey of the butterfly, the 4 stages of the butterfly, and how could we express that with these beautiful sounds, and that we kind of share a lot of journeying in terms of meditation, and this idea that you could create a soundscape that's almost like a meditation, and a movement journey that's almost like a meditation. So yeah, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, just that this is almost a baby of the whole lockdown process, because we started doing some sessions to work with Ella opening her voice, and her voice was part of the soundtrack as well. And through the distance, we communicated more and more, and I was asked to work on the sound for this, and it's just, yes, it's just amazing to like see. You can logically work it out, but there's something moving through us. There's something that is forming us into certain shapes, and this is like a culmination of that. And the dance, and you've moved to my voice a few times, so this is really your idea, your baby, and to come and witness what you were working on, and actually started with just a single voice, sitting there watching and just using the voice, and the synergy just happened. Yeah.
And it's just the beginning. So this has been, I think we've been in and out of Bournemouth over the past month, and so this is kind of the beginning. This is, I really want to explore voice more, that this is a journey of voice opening, and that there will be kind of sections of text as well. So I'm excited to see where we go next as well.
Ella, Marv, thank you so much. That was really interesting insight to what you've been doing. And for the audience, if you would like to know more about the work of Ella or Marv, Marv's website is marvradio.com, and for Ella, it's ellamesma.co.uk. To those of you who have watched, thank you so much. It was our first live stream. We hope that you enjoyed it. If you've got questions, if you've got comments that you'd like to make, we're really interested in knowing them. So if you'd like to go onto Twitter and use our handle &PDSW_org, then we will be able to get a conversation going with you and Ella, who will be able to respond to some of your questions directly. This is a new digital journey that we're going on, partly provoked by COVID, but now giving us new opportunities to work with artists in different ways to the ones that we have before. Do join us on that journey and keep checking out what we're doing on our website. You'll see www.pdsw.org.uk. And like so many other organisations in the arts and beyond, we have been badly impacted by COVID. If you enjoyed the show tonight and you would like to donate, please visit our website. We look forward to seeing you again soon. We hope that you carry our values with you, which are kind, inclusive, inspiring, passionate, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care.